So shall we start?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So hello, everybody. Today we are here to present to you the latest footwear updates. A short intro to start to remember how our intelligent technology collects, analyze, and translate data into actionable insights. We have been the first implementing concrete and tangible data coming from the web into trend analysis. And we are footwear specialists thanks to our long-lasting partnership with MICAM and the Italian Federation of Footwear. So we work with specific algorithm for shoe trend detection, and we analyze more than 1,040 attributes. And these attributes are about, for example, shapes, materials, but they are also about product range, prices, discount. So we really help our clients to have the best collection assortment. We are pioneer of data-driven trend forecasting, and we cross-reference several sources, several data sources to produce our trend analysis. So you will find this icon in this presentation. So the market, the social media, the consumer interest, and the fashion show. Next to the data sources, you will find a percentage, and this is a year-on-year growth of the trend. And you will also find what we call the trend behavior, that is showing the state and the risk of the trend from edgy and early signs that are, of course, more risky and newer, to stable and last call trends that are in a decreasing perspective, but still a business potential. If you would like to have more information about our methodology, feel free to ask your question in the chat or at the end of the presentation, and we will explain more. But today, of course, the topic it's about the trends. So let's go on, because we have a lot of things to show you. And as fashion innovators, we are at the forefront of fashion tech and keeping up with all the latest developments. So today we will show you how at LiveTrend we can translate our million of data we analyze into product image that transform the right set of trends into picture of future bestsellers. So as you can see here, all those images and a lot of images that you will see, and we will pick you up which ones are generated by artificial intelligence. So they are not real product, picture of product, but they are generated by artificial intelligence. But now let's start with our AI-generated forecasting.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. So I'm Julia. I am really excited to guide you through today through this SS through the forecast, let's say, for fall winter, but also in the end to give you a little preview for SS25 and to take you through the product shifts that we have been tracking in the market afterwards. Just in the beginning, I have been working as a footwear designer myself, especially at Isabelle Marant. So I'm really excited when it comes to footwear, when LiveTrend is talking about footwear. But now let's start. So as you see in this slide, talking about our latest footwear forecast for fall, we have called this Protopia. So let us just pick up with a quick overview of the season so we all understand a bit where the fashion industry is heading on a whole. So currently, as you all know, we see the world trapped in this spiral of crisis where all of these issues collectively exist and kind of preview a dark future. But as we approach the next years, we can see new opportunities arise that are, asking us as individuals to reclaim our happiness with newfound acceptance and creativity. So the coming years are marked as a period of gradual change. So we will be guiding us towards more long-term restructuring, but this step by step. So in these subsequent years, we are redefining the growth paradigm that is now a bit, growth is a word that has very negative associations, but we are kind of paving the way for a more protopian future. And what does that mean, protopia? So protopia in the end is a very proactive dream of transforming and of possibility. So it's not a utopia, but it's actually a very accessible future. But therefore, we always have to go very little teeny tiny steps of improvement. And how can we do this? We can do that by really developing a new form of resilience where we just don't withstand all of this chaos and this, stress, but instead we thrive and improve. And as you see in this AI generated mood board, it's really about strengthening our resilience and confronting our fear. So we're stepping into uncertainty. And with our footwear trends, macro trends for the season, you can see that they're not just based on data, but also linked to this ethos of steady progress that we can witness within society. So our trends are really embodying different forces that are driving us forward and that are, giving us a different response to react to these challenges. Let us take a look at our overview for today. So we're looking at 4 sets of macro trends. For the season, we have decoded these 4 main directions, but we are really just briefly diving into them before we take a look at how these trends have behaved on the market and across social media with our latest data, so we can understand which key items are really manifesting recently. But let us begin with our fall-winter forecasting. So the first theme that we have AI generated for footwear is called Tender Frost. And this theme is an ode to, let's say, the delicate beauty that is inherent in our human vulnerability and the strength that arises from acknowledging this fragility. So within this concept, our own human sensitivity translates into footwear that are embodying a sense of grace and sophistication. So this trend appreciates the beauty of the delicate and is kind of offering a contrast in our harsh climate around us. The color palette is based on dusty pastels, off-whites, and is reminiscent of, gentle winter frosty mornings. Looks are featuring satin, fuzzy fabrics, softer leathers, and knit textures. And other design elements that are, linked to this delicacy are inspired by lingerie lace up or subtle gathering, dainty bows. So you can see everything that is quite accentuating our softer sides. So overall, this trend is really calling to our tenderness and this sensitivity that we're all carrying inside us as individuals. And it's really maintaining trends that we have tracked before, which are the ballet core and the new masculinity, and carrying them into the next season. So when we take a look at the next slide, we can see our AI generated must-haves and key items that are linked to the concept. So for instance, for women's wear, we have this lace-up boots that gives us a bit of this nostalgic feel, and with the lace-up detail reminds us of the lingerie world. And then we've got the fuzzy pump that is proposing, one of these like new super soft and unexpected textures on a classic heel, as well as the soft ballet flat. So of course we've seen the ballet flat, the Mary Jane shoe emerging in the market, but linked to this trend, it's really interesting how it will come in, satin, gathered or scrunched interpretation with tie-up details and really feeling like we've taken the piece from the ballet studio. For menswear, this softness comes through as well. We've got the snow boot as a leading core item, which is combining, this sense of fashionable purity, delicate momentum, but also this like practical coziness that obviously comes in very handy in colder and harsh winters. So next to that, we've got the soft loafer for the premium market and premium shoes. It adds a little, like a cozy luxury feel, but makes it a bit more tender. And then for the fuzzy slide, it's really a fashion upgrade for the commercial clog shoe that we've seen throughout the summer. When looking at our second AI-generated concept, we have Highland Lodge, which is kind of a portal to a bygone era. So this trend is rooted in nostalgia and is defined by bucolic tradition and the timeless allure of countryside estates. So when we look at this trend, we can see a lot of inspiration that is drawn from this currently trending old money aesthetic. So this old money theme is offering us a harmonious blend of refined elegance, but also combined with rustic charm. The color palette that we see here kind of weaves a rich tapestry of earthy tones, and also some other shades that are reflecting warmth, comfort, and anything autumnal. So next to this color palette, even the materials tell us a story of artisanal craftsmanship, where we can see patchworks, little embroideries, meet with more natural and rustic leather that is adding texture. For the details, we have some wooden soles reflecting authenticity of the countryside, but also metal pieces that are very refined and perforations that add a sense of understated elegance. So for our AI-generated women's wear staples, you can see these heritage boots in flat or heeled versions that are feeling a bit more rigid and wide. We've got the chunky Mary Jane as a new way of interpreting the key item, with combining casual chunkiness with this prim T-strap, and of course the men's Oxford that we've seen emerge at shows like Miu Miu for more timelessness and genderlessness in women's wear looks. For men's, we've got the modern heritage boot, mainly favored in squared or very natural toe shape, and a very stylized minimal outline for the upper. And then we've got the apron toe lace-up derby, whatever, for the premium shoe. So this one adds a more nostalgic feel to classic derbies. The hybrid hiking shoe, on the other hand, for casual footwear, is turning the wallaby or boat kind of style into a very appropriate fall staple, as it is combined with a more off-grid sole and more sturdy leather qualities. So now for our third trend already, we've got lunar realms. So this AI-generated concept is really embarking on a celestial journey that transcends earthly boundaries for more uncharted spheres. So this trend is really rooted in our current spirit for exploration and envisions a future that is mixing kind of engineered comfort with a soft touch of cosmic elegance. The palette is rooted in grays, nocturnal darks, mint, blue, and is really picking up on that mysteriousness of the universe and something very sleek. We see a lot of cutting-edge technical materials with metallic accents or other sheer elements that are proposing kind of a testament to innovation and modernity. And we have all of these, padded qualities that are keeping a sense of luxurious comfort, but also feel like a weightless journey, let's say, through space. For even more performance details, this trend is looking at Velcro, extra sets of laces, security soles, and anything else that is echoing the pragmatism of futuristic design. But at the same time, we don't forget about these sleek outlines that create a more stylized aesthetic and are, creating this pioneering lunar look that is embracing both exploration and the allure of the unknown. When we want to look at our AI-generated women's wear styles, we have AI-generated this wide leg boot. So here you can see this airy volume that is creating a very like almost molded crunching look, taking us really to an extraterrestrial place. Then we've got the curved heel pumps. So here we've seen a lot of convex or concaved heels that are adding twists to classic pumps. The lunar mule is remaining in the market. So this for us means really these chunky padded, super soft slides. And for men's, we see the space boot as a kind of performance padded boot that is a kind of technical alternative to the current poofy moon boot. And then we've got the sleek slip-on, which is taking us into a future lab world for premium shoes, as for example the last Prada collection. And with its glossy finish and laceless design, it's really adding a modern shift to dress shoes. And for the casual men's footwear, we have the technical slide, which is quite inspired by the 2000s racy technical sneakers and adds a new Y2K wave in terms of shapes to men's mules. When now looking at our last trend concept, we have AI generated and AI tracked this afterworlds theme. So this is a trend that is born, let's say, from the ashes of an apocalyptic world. So we have seen past seasons that have been quite black on black. And now we're offering a new realm to all of these, let's say, outlaws of rebellion and dark magic. So in this new collection, we can see shoes encapsulate the spirit of survival but slightly shifted to a more natural sphere. So the color palette paints us a quite gritty volcanic landscape. So we can see muddy tones, deep darks, and intense red or fiery hues that are, telling us a story of a world that has forever changed. And when it comes to the footwear, it all seems to be crafted from very distressed, molten, or crackled materials. So each style kind of, embeds a scar of our tough journeys recently. And the materials also embody this sense of raw beauty that is found within the aftermath of, crisis or within crisis. And it seems like every little stain or distress is kind of the badge of honor that we've survived and withstand all of these problems and issues. And in design, we can see a lot of interesting elements like protective buckles and straps that are serving both as functional elements, but also as symbols of strength. But also don't forget about these sharper outlines that still contribute to a very sleek and daring aesthetic. We've AI generated these women's wear favorites, which are the buckled boot that works across multiple heel heights because this multi-buckle effect of layering, let's say, one buckle strap above the other really adds a powerful villain touch. Then we see the strappy stiletto as a carryover from the past seasons, but this season it's even more focused on these micro-sized, teeny tiny straps that feel almost that can be wrapped around or, even layered in certain features for an even more seductive note. And then we got the pointy mule that is the new fashion favorite because it's not just hyper chic, but it's very comfortable in wear. So it can achieve very high commercial successes. And for menswear, we've got the apocalypse boot, which is kind of the more refined take or high-end take, let's say, to these recently favorite sturdy motor boots. And it's kind of enhancing or elevating it into one of these new wardrobe staples especially for fashion cohorts. Then we've got the hefty loafer, which comes with a classic upper but chunky lug sole, and it's manifesting from the catwalks to the streets. Last, we've got the off-grid runner, which is combining the recent trekking shoe, but also like a futuristic running shoe into a new hybrid that is definitely standing out, especially in a market that you will see later is very led by all of these retro court sneakers that you'll pick up on, as I mentioned later. But now I give to Barbara to tell you how some of these trends have now been picked up in the market and what our data is actually showing.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how we work. Yes. Maybe Julia, switch off your microphone because I hear me in double. Okay, thank you very much. It's interesting to see how we work because here you have seen all these icons we were talking before, as you can appreciate how we cross-reference all these different data sources to really pick up the next bestsellers. So here we highlight just a few of them, but this is how we work for our forecasting. But in our platform now we already have all the updates coming from the market and coming from Instagram and all the other, of course, sources. So what we want to show you today is also has from this very beautiful inspirational forecasting, we also go to really concrete and important data that are coming from the market, because of course we also need to know what is really visible in the market, what is selling in the market now. And so we just do a global recap in those two slides for you. So you can see in this trend curve, the gray one you see on this slide, it is the trend visibility. So we can see that the shoes with the most visibility are the high heels at the moment, and they grow 15% to last year, and they are predicted to be stable for the upcoming season. Platforms has been a big trend with big visibility, but they are starting to decrease. So for us, 22% is quite a stable trend, but it's forecasted to decrease for the upcoming season because, of course, it was so big and so visible. So now it's going to be more stable. Then, of course, we have the block heels, so gaining 9% from last year. and they are predicted to grow for the next season, also linked with this Mary Jane trend. And then, last but not least, the kitten heels, because they are predicted to be a very hot trend. And as you can see in the market, they are already increasing by more than 200. A little also information about the toe of the shoes, because it's always important when you are designing the shoes. And we can see that, of course, the most of the visibility is on round toes, but they are, as we say, stable, little decrease of 16%. Increasing in the other end are the pointy toe by 32%. So they are very important in the market and forecasted to grow, as we have seen in the forecasting that Julia explained to you. And also the square toe, they were very important in visibility and in the fashion show, because we can see that in the market, not all the brands really, go for this shape, but it's still a very important shape. And we are also seeing those hybrid shape in between pointy and squared. So it's really about, details. It's really about working on these two different shapes. And then let's go about the different style highlights. So of course, one of the biggest visibility is on loafers and globally classic, genderless, long-lasting styles. So loafers are in a big visibility, but still a stable product, because in all the collection, of course, loafers are still an iconic and stable product, and they are predicted to stay stable with high visibility for the next season. Slingback, it's a second place, we can say, a very stable trend. And you can see how the ballet flats are increasing by nearly 100% on the market. So it's predicted to be a very hot trend with different shapes and evolution from what we have seen in the market this year. And then the snow boots are a very fashionable product at the moment, even because I think you have seen through all these holiday and ski collection from several brands, from luxury even to mass market brands. So snow boot, it's definitely a new fashion pieces to put in your collection, and it's going to be stable for the next seasons. So now let's have a look at our Instagram update. So we have divided in few categories just to give you an overview. But maybe, Julia, would you like to start with boots?
Yes, definitely. So let us take a quick look at the Instagram behaviors and developments of the boots category, starting with women. So for women's boots on Instagram, we have seen this kind of dual evolution. We could track that the biker boot with a square toe and these sturdy buckles has become a dominating safe trend, boasting with commercial potentials due to these multiple ways of interpretation. So it can be quite like a commercial with just one or two like buckle details, but it can also range into something a bit more edgy. And this versatile appeal has shown up with a 2,450% search growth, as you can see as well. So we also try to incorporate a lot of search data. So this is the data that have of people or consumers researching for these products online, and it usually backs up, or it always kind of backs up with our Instagram and data sets. So you can really see that this is the data that is coming really from the consumers. So it's as close as to the consumers as it can get. So we also see the cowboy boot, but it has kind of undergone a bit of a style change. It's a bit more sleek and minimal in its transformation, also favoring knee-high styles and therefore breaking a bit with these traditional cowboy boot codes. So these new cowboy boots are really blending nostalgia with a more contemporary aesthetic. And kind of both of these styles are reflecting the fashion community's appetite for reinvented classics. And when we look at men, we can also see that Instagram is proposing new styles that are suggesting a dynamic blend of modern and traditional. So our data could track the emergence of squared toe fire boots. So these heritage boots that feature this little iconic buckle on the ankle that have been growing for 316%. And we also expect this trend to really gain momentum. And simultaneously, we also see the pointy Western boot as a stable and fashionable choice that is reflecting a broader acceptance of this more feminine element in menswear footwear. And when we look at these agenda boots on the next slide, we can see that for both genders, Instagram is showcasing a lot of these, let's say, classic mountain boots that manage to retain their relevance because they're usually featured, in upgraded fashion collaborations or just really reflect the interest or ongoing demand into performance boots that are aligning with the quest in the outdoors and the interest in outdoor activities like hiking, etc. And simultaneously, obviously, we've got this slipper kind of snow boot that is manifesting as a big and stable trend, blending comfort and minimal aesthetics with a sense of familiarity, and really reflecting a practical yet fashionable choice for a wide range of consumers. So as Barbara mentioned before, it's becoming an important fashion piece even across a lot of market scopes.
Yes. It's also very interesting here to see and for you to understand, and you can even maybe ask your question if you want, because we have other category, but as you can see, you have the stamp, so you can see if the trend behaves stable or if it's a safe trend. And with the data, you can appreciate the visibility on Instagram, the growth of the visibility on Instagram. And this consumer data can just tell you, if the clients are, ready for this kind of piece. Because, for example, let me show you something interesting when we are, looking at, fire boot or biker boots for women, how the search for women's are very high. So that means that the client is ready to buy this kind of product. For cowboy boots, Julia can tell how many clients ask us, are we going to do cowboy boots for the next season? Yes or no? And if we look at the data for women, we can say, okay, it's still growing and there's still interest for this kind of product. Of course, some markets are more inclined to buy this kind of product, for example, USA, but it's still a very safe trend for the next season. And for men, as you can see, there are slightly similar trend because it's fire boot or is, the Western. But as you can see, the trends are coming like a little bit later, can I say, for men, because here we have early sign for the fire boot that is quite strong for women. And then the pointy Western, more, refined, is a product that consumers are looking for with 100 of, search growth year on year. So I hope you understand, how you have to read this information. And now I just go through these classic shoes that are very important, and also because they are genderless shoes, so that it means that if men or women can wear the same, so it's really on the trend. And as we have seen in the market and in forecasting, all these penny loafer were very trendy, and of course it's a big trend and it has a stable visibility on Instagram. But as you can see, the consumer are still looking for chunky loafers, while in the visibility, and as you can see in those images, the styles look more classic and refined and less chunky than what they are proposing. They proposed, last year. Another big trend is the apron toe. So as you can see, there's a big increase of 51% in visibility. It's a safe trend also because it's a classic and iconic shoes, but it's more new, of course, for women. And the search of this product is quite high, with more than 100 increasing from last year. And then let's have a look also at these other styles. For example, the dress shoe, the derby shoes is very important. And the search for men derbies here is quite high. And the wallaby or the boat shoes in general are still a strong trend and stable trend, with 33% of increase on Instagram. And we can highlight also some different brands that clients are looking for, as you have seen Miu Miu on top for boots, and here Clark's shoes for the Wallaby. And then let's have a look at flats.
Yeah, so let's take a look at women's flats. So our data exhibits that we can see a diverse range, a diverse evolution, let's say, for the ballet flat for women's wear. So we are moving either into a very delicate universe or into something more contemporary. So the soft ballet flat really emerges as an early sign trend. It's borrowing all of the delicate qualities from the dance studio, whether that's like little bows, it's super soft calf leather, it's satin. So it's really manifesting the ballet core aesthetic for another season. And at the same time, we've got these more contemporary interpretations with buckled flats that represent a more safe trend. They are blending femininity with a more modern and, you know, stylized look, let's say. And with this rather contemporary style, we're really, we see that we've already experienced a notable growth of 168%. So this is quite showcasing the popularity and versatility of this buckled, almost Mary Janey reinterpreted style.
And then I go with heels. So if we have a look at heels, of course, we cannot talk about the Mary Jane, because the Mary Jane style has been one of the biggest growing trends in the last season. So we detect it as a big trend. It increased 62% in visibility. There are several different styles, because you can have it's quite classic but also very fashionable. So it's a very versatile product, and you can appreciate how the search for Mary Jane flats have increased by 271% to last year. So it's really an hot product yet. And the goth style here, it's more considered as an edgy trend, but it has, of course, big visibility on Instagram. So it is the typical product to test, so to do in very small quantity, but to have in your assortment just to show that you are, you know, on the trends. It's not just about platform, because as you can see, you can have also different, you know, height of the shoes, but it's really about this gothic, you know, inspiration. And then, of course, we were talking about pointy shoes as an increasing trend, and we can see how this shape is translating on mules that, of course, are a safe trend, increasing by 79% in visibility. And of course, as you can see, pointy mules are really something that consumers are looking for. And of course, there are the slingbacks that are even more versatile and also a safe trend, increasing by 32% and increasing in consumer search by 200%. Now let's have a quick look to fashion heels. Of course, here you have to think that these are quite, you know, early and edgy trends, but we have spotted even on the fashion show a lot of these new fuzzy styles. So can be furry, but can be fuzzy. So can be even the material that is quite, you know, furry in a way. And it has a big increase on Instagram, and during the fashion week, it was really, you know, a big visibility on those kind of heels. And the pointy toe heel, so we have seen in mules, we have seen it, you know, even in the flat or in the slingback. It's also very interesting for heels with the high visibility on Instagram. And as you can see, you can play with different heels with this very, you know, stable at the end pointy shape. So
Thank you. So now just let us dive into the last product category that we have analyzed on Instagram. So for sneakers, we have seen a continuous evolution that is interestingly looking at the past. So here you can see these retro court styles, particularly obviously the Sambas Adidas trainer, that is maintaining a significant presence. But when we talk about retro inspired sneakers, we also saw some early signs for these, let's say, soccer inspired hybrids that are coming in. And especially within these Tricon collaborations that we have seen with niche designers like Marine Serre. And when we want to look at another slide now on sneakers for menswear, we see the modular off-grid sneaker that is remaining as a safe yet fashionable trend with 61% growth. And that is now featuring a bit more enhanced soles that almost have a deconstructed effect. And additionally, the molded slip-on sneaker is signaling a fashionable early sign, and it's quite kind of adding a bit of diversity to the sneaker landscape. And with this, futuristic slip-on feel, we can kind of translate our current need for futuristic styles, within the market. And you can see that there's already a 26% growth. It's quite small, but since this is a rather fashionable piece, this is all linking up.
Okay, great. So now what's next? Of course. So our spring-summer 25 footwear forecast is available on the platform for our clients. Maybe Julia, if you want to talk a little bit more about this, because we have other 4 macro trends and color palettes with all the details, materials, and all the styles. And I'm sure you are very interested on it, but it's not, the today topic. But let's see also what we have next, because in our next event, so next Tuesday, we will talk about the holiday updates. So we analyze all the festive and holiday collection from the e-commerce. So it's really a webinar dedicated to merchandisers and product managers to really understand how calibrate their future assortment, but also to really understand which are the team that are driving the next winter collection. And on Tuesday, so the 30th of January, we will present the forecast preview, the spring-summer 25 forecasting preview, that it's global. It's not just about shoes. But if you want to see our presentation and specifically about shoes, you can join us at MICAM on February from the 18 to 21, because we will be in Milan presenting our trend at the trend area of MICAM. So thank you very much to be attending this webinar. Now we have 15 minutes for your question to answer, of course, to whatever you want to ask about those footwear trends. And please, you will receive after this webinar a link with a questionnaire, so you can give us your feedback, please. So you can have the PDF of the presentation at the end, of the question you will just answer. So just dedicate 10 minutes to us. It would be very helpful for driving us in the right direction for the next webinars.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for being here, for participating. And we're already looking forward to meeting you at MICAM in Milan or at any other occasion. I will be in Stockholm in February as well for a footwear presentation. So feel free to reach out to join us. And yeah.
I say goodbye to everybody. I hope to see you in our next webinar or presentation. If you have any question, please contact us by email or via the website. We will be very happy to answer to you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.